I've shared before how luxury became part of my identity, but there's one difficult part that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the fact that I hid many of my purchases from my husband and my family. I didn't want them to see the truth, that I was caught up in a cycle that I just couldn't seem to stop. I didn't want to see the look of disappointment or shock on their faces, or to tell them how much I spent, or that my debt kept increasing. In this video, I'm going to be completely transparent with you, and I'm going to open up about why I kept those secrets, how it made me feel at the time, and the consequences of hiding my luxury packages. And if you've ever hidden shopping bags in the trunk of your car, snuck packages inside, or downplayed the cost of something that you bought, you're not alone. This is my story of guilt, shame, and the vicious cycle that I just couldn't seem to stop. Hi, I'm Nikki. Welcome to La Paz Bound. If you've seen my videos on This Is Not Luxury or the emotional side of selling my luxury collection, then you know that I have been opening up about my complicated relationship with luxury and how I connected it to my identity. For me, luxury shopping, it started as excitement, as a reward for working hard, as a way to feel like I belonged to a world that I admired. But over time, it became something that I kept secret because deep down, I knew that I couldn't justify the price tags. I knew I was spending money that I didn't really have, and I didn't want to face the questions, how much was that? Do you really need another one? Couldn't that money go towards debt or towards savings instead? So instead of having those conversations, I just chose to ignore the problem. I chose to hide my purchases, and I chose to keep spending. I'd keep shopping bags in my car until I could sneak them inside. Every time a package would arrive, I'd make sure to intercept it before my husband saw it. I'd stash it in my closet, I would peel off the tags, and I would pretend that it had always been there. On the outside, it looked like I was just treating myself every once in a while, but the truth, it was constant. It was a vicious cycle. And a lot of times I wouldn't wear something new right away. Things have sat in my closet for months. Sometimes these things would sit in my closet until they were paid off. Sort of a self-punishment of, you can't wear that until it's paid for. And then I could wear it and justify it because, well, it's now paid for. And the shopping cycle usually started late at night. I'd open up the RealReal or Fashion File, or sometimes both, scrolling endlessly, hunting for the next perfect bag or pair of shoes. The moment I spotted something, I felt this rush. I'd start justifying the purchase in my head, and then I'd finance it or whip out my credit card, convincing myself that I'd figure out the payments later. The next day, I'd move things around in my budget just to make it fit. I would take the money I was paying towards other debt and allocate it to pay off the new designer item that I had just bought. But the truth is, those purchases often came with crushing regret. There were nights that I would literally bolt upright out of sleep, heart racing, in full panic mode, thinking, what have I done? And yet, even after all that, I kept doing it over and over again. Then came the waiting game, that week between clicking add to bag and the package arriving, which was also full of anticipation and stress. Watching the UPS tracker to see when the package would come and trying to figure out in my mind how to get the package inside and up the stairs before my husband noticed that yet another package had arrived for me. And when it showed up, opening it gave me a high, but it never lasted because almost immediately I was back on those apps scrolling again, looking for the next designer bag or shoes to add to my collection. You know what those designer bags and shoes gave me? Debt, guilt, and the endless need for more. I was never satisfied. And here's the part that is the hardest to admit. That cycle never really went away. It's still with me. Even now, I still catch myself sometimes scrolling those sites. The temptation is always there, and it is like a drug. I have to fight the urge not to hit add to bag. I've removed the Fashion File app from my phone, but the RealReal is still on there. I still have 3 items that haven't sold yet. However, I have no obsessions saved and no saved search list. And once those 3 items sell, the RealReal app will be deleted. You know, luxury isn't all bad. There's a reason that people are drawn to it. The craftsmanship, the uniqueness, the way a bag feels on your arm, or the way a pair of shoes transforms an outfit, it's special. And what I love most about designer items is that these aren't mainstream. These aren't brands that you'll find everywhere, like Michael Kors or Kate Spade. You're not going to see these pieces in Target or Marshall's. A good amount of luxury items are quality. And truthfully, many of the items that I still have, they're going to last for decades if I take care of them. And that part of me hasn't changed. I'll probably always admire luxury fashion for what it is. It's beautiful, it's creative, and it's timeless. I don't think luxury itself is the villain here. It's the way that it's marketed to us and the way that I went after it. But here's where I want things to be different in the future. I don't want to buy luxury with debt. I don't want to associate it with guilt and shame or lying. I want to enjoy something nice because I saved for it and because I can truly afford it, not because I put it on a credit card at midnight and panicked about it the next day. The kind of relationship that I want with luxury going forward is one that is healthy, guilt-free, and intentional. I want Dawn to be a part of the conversation and decision-making, rather than making these purchases that I hide. I also want to get away from buying designer items just to have them, to fill a void or prove something to myself. In the past, I made a lot of expensive and regretful purchases. Bags that were the right brand, but not necessarily the right color or the color that I actually wanted. Or bags that were close to what I was looking for, but not the bag. Those purchases were about chasing a feeling, not choosing something that I truly loved. And I don't want to do that anymore. If I buy bags in the future, I want them to be intentional. I want them to be the exact bag that I have dreamed of, not a stand-in, not a close enough. I want them to be special, to be functional, and to add value to my life instead of debt and regret. That is the shift that I'm working towards. Still appreciating the beauty of luxury, but on my own terms, without guilt, without hiding, and without sacrificing our financial peace. If this video resonated with you, I would love it if you would give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to La Paz Bound so you don't miss future videos where I keep sharing my journey with debt, luxury, and finding balance. As always, thank you so much for being here with me. Until next time, hasta luego, my friends.